When people think of the sequel to Slumber Party Massacre, they're thinking, a really cool killer with a driller guitar. In actuality, Roger Corman produced a movie with Jim Wynorski that's a true sequel to Slumber Party Massacre. It's Cheerleader Massacre.
Good to see you again, Linda. It's been a long time.
I don't think anybody knows about this movie, and I can understand why, kind of.
Whatever.
It's a pretty low-budget movie, and you basically have a group of cheerleaders that are trying to go somewhere, like to a tryout or something. They run out of gas.
This is so bad. No gas, no food.
They still haven't caught that killer yet.
And they just have to stay at a cabin in the woods.
Someone check around back, see if there's a hockey mask and a light.
At the same time, a killer has escaped from a mental facility, and he is on the loose and killing people on his way to get revenge for the sheriff Monty who put him in there, whose cabin happens to be the neighbor of the cabin that the girls found. It's just an unfortunate series of events which put these women in danger.
Damn him! We needed that gun and now he's put us all in danger!
But there's more to it, and we'll get to that, but that's the gist.
Can we go now, huh?
I feel like we have to throw in the full disclosure. We've already watched and reviewed this many years ago, and we've been wanting to revisit it because it was like our very first negative review.
-5 heart-shaped tubs.
-5 pom-poms. This is definitely
the worst movie
ever.
And like, we didn't know what we were doing 8 years ago. Today was the day that we thought, let's relive this for Dustin because he loves boobs, and we remembered there being boobs in this film, which there are.
Come on, Gary, be a man.
Be a man. I hate that expression. How about be a woman? What does that mean?
I don't just like boobs.
Well, I feel like every time you come on here, you're like, okay, I need like some movie with titties in it.
I have to get something to grab my eyes. Just the shitty storylines, the same, oh, cabin in the woods, get massacred over there, great.
You got chocolate syrup, you got babes.
I did not get to see.
Hold that chocolate syrup story. I gotta get some more ice.
A few inches later.
We watched a weird cut of this one. The first one that we watched was on Netflix back in the day, and it had an extended scene of a bunch of porn stars hanging out in a hot tub pouring chocolate syrup all over their breasts, and we're like, oh, Dustin's gonna love this movie, and we sat down, and 45 minutes into the movie, we're like, wait a second, what happened to that awesome scene? The whole reason we got Dustin to review this movie.
Waste of my fucking time.
I thought this was a ghost story, not one of your perverted fantasies.
Hey, I'm telling a story here. It's my story, okay?
And we thought this would be up his alley too because the last movie you reviewed with us was Scared Topless, which was also done by Jim Wynorski. It still had like a ton of awesome babes and hilarious lines.
We'll pay for the food that we eat, but we're not touching any alcohol. So put it away. Now.
Sure.
I think like the dialogue in this movie was atrocious, but hilarious.
I would love to have a cabin out in the woods somewhere.
A blazing fireplace.
And a warm bearskin rug.
Oh, fake bear, of course.
Of course.
Fake bearskin rug. I'll show him a rug.
Buzzy is the best character. Actually, I think he's the only established character in this film. He has the most dialogue, and he is the driver. We don't know if he works for the school or like a student who's like doing a victory
He's not
lap.
a student, he's like 50.
He's like 20 years old. He's the 20-something that the cops are talking about.
Oh, all the victims here in this county, they're in their teens and 20s.
100%.
He is not 20 years old.
Okay, 40. Let's cut it even.
And 100% is Kevin James's brother. He's Danny Heffernan.
I liked him. Buzzy's cool. Even if he is a creeper and he watches the students bang.
Buzzy! Buzzy, you out here? Buzzy's busy.
Miss Hendricks was an absolute knockout.
Now hit the showers. The bus is leaving in 15 minutes, with or without you.
A scene, a notable scene, I'm reminiscing I have nostalgia for from 8 years ago, is her slowly, ever so slowly, washing her body. It is almost aggravatingly slow. Move that soap bar a little faster, lady.
No film on your skin.
No ring in your toe.
You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
I will say, the kills, we did have that hilarious one at the door. Brilliant.
That was great. It is an unfortunate aspect of a movie with massacre in the title. There's like hardly any kills. You don't see anything except for that. When Buzzy dies, unfortunately, blood sprays on the window, and that's about it.
Yeah, really.
If we're gonna talk about our killer, we've got McPherson, who has escaped from the asylum, and spoiler alert, McPherson isn't the one who's actually killing the cheerleader.
We're safe now. I haven't felt safe in more than a year.
It's one of the cheerleaders, Angela, who is killing them all off to get back at what happened a year ago when the love of her life drove off of a bridge, which was a very funny use of B-roll.
Speaking of which, when I talked about Slumber Party Massacre and why this is a sequel, it even has Brinke Stevens reprising her role as Linda from the original.
Good to see you again, Linda. It's been a long time.
And even shows footage and explains what happened after that movie to make this a direct tie-in.
I'd stayed late to help with the graduation exercise, and then I went back to the gym to get my school books from a locker. When the janitor found me on the floor, I was nearly dead from loss of blood.
Like when you look at the movie poster, it's blatantly Slumber Party Massacre. Like,
with a chainsaw, which isn't fucking in this movie. So I am still frustrated at this. There's a lot of focus on the wrong aspects. Sometimes we have a lot of focus on the good aspects.
I'm hooking up with Brent Williams tonight.
No friggin' way.
Big friggin' way.
But like half the movie we spend with these cops that we don't give a shit about, and they just keep going back to them and they're just talking about day-to-day cop stuff.
That's not a McPherson.
It's not unusual. I know this guy from 20 years ago. He's not going to be caught easily.
You find out they're not even cops, they're rangers, and one of them's some dipshit, Kimball, who just keeps fucking with the evidence. Here's a footprint. Let me just scramble it up with my fucking fingers.
Kimball, what do you got?
Some boot prints up in the mud. Looks like he's headed north towards Tumbler Ridge.
We loved DeMarco, and yet we got nothing from her. All this emphasis on DeMarco, and she does nothing.
2-minute screen time altogether, probably, maybe.
And even having like McPherson involved.
I'll kill more than my share. It isn't that tough. This time around, the bodies will stack up.
But having this little like showdown with Monty, it's just too much of other shit that we didn't really sign up for. When you come to a movie about cheerleaders in a cabin, or a cottage or whatever.
5-story cottage. The flights of stairs that they gotta get up to those doors.
Took forever to climb that shit.
That was the funniest part. Like when Angela's finally revealed to be the killer and she like chases them up these stairs and they even like get to the top of the stairs, they go down another flight of stairs and they tell the whole backstory about how they were caught like having a lesbian kiss. It was filmed.
You bastard! Get out of here!
2 hours later.
We made a pact never to reveal the truth. Angela just went along with it because we threatened to send a videotape to her family.
And this fucking Angela girl is still running up these stairs. From the outside, it doesn't look like that much, but it took her a fucking hour. Revisiting this movie, well, it was enjoyable. It wasn't the best. It's certainly better than we gave credit for prior after watching what we've watched over the last few years, but it's still not great. But there are some funny lines and there is fun to be had at moments, but it's not a so bad it's good movie to me. There's better ones to watch. So I'm gonna give this 2 blowing your dry hair with a unplugged hair dryer out of 5.
We were pretty harsh on it back in the day, and I could see why. It is not a good film, but I had fun watching it. It's not as bad as I remember, but by no means is it good. Will I rewatch the sequel again? Yes, I feel as though that is another one I want to revisit. I want to revisit all the movies from almost a decade ago when we watched them, because I feel we were mean. Now, I'm going from a -5 rating to 1.5 Gandalf kills out of 5.
You shall not pass!
I did not come in from seeing it previously. From all the blow up that they told me of how many titties I would get to see, it was a downfall.
I'm sorry.
We didn't realize this was the bad version.
I don't watch these types of movies just to see titties. The acting obviously wasn't great. The kills, there weren't many. But I have to say, I would probably give this 2 cock locks out of 5.
Sweet.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything here on Bloodbath TV. Hit the outro, man.